What if I told you that reality isn't fixed? That the world around you, everything you see, touch, and experience, is not something happening to you, but something responding to you? It may sound unbelievable at first. After all, we've been taught that reality is objective, an independent force, following rigid laws of physics, unaffected by our thoughts or emotions. But what if that's not entirely true? What if you are influencing reality in ways you've never realized? For centuries, we operated under a Newtonian model of reality, a world where things were separate, fixed, and mechanical. Isaac Newton's laws told us that physical objects moved according to external forces, that the universe was like a great machine, running on predictable rules, independent of human thought. And for a time, this made sense. It explained gravity, motion, cause and effect. It gave us structure, certainty. But then, something happened. Science evolved. Technology advanced. And as we peered deeper into the fabric of existence, we discovered a hidden world beneath the surface. A world of subatomic particles, energy fields, and probabilities. This is the world of quantum physics, and it changes everything. Unlike Newtonian physics, which tells us that reality is out there, existing separately from us, quantum mechanics tells us that reality is fluid, interconnected, and deeply influenced by observation. Yes, observation. Simply looking at something, measuring it, giving it attention changes its behavior. This isn't speculation. This is science. If reality is influenced by observation, then what does that say about your own life? What does that mean for your experiences, your struggles, your dreams? It means that what you focus on, you bring into being. What you believe, you give form. What you emotionally invest in, you strengthen. Reality is not happening to you. It is responding to you. Take a moment to reflect. How often do you focus on what you don't want? How many times have you obsessed over fears, doubts, worst-case scenarios? What if, without realizing it, you were feeding those very realities with your attention? If the quantum field holds infinite possibilities, then the question isn't, what does reality have in store for me? The question is, what am I bringing into reality through my own consciousness? And that is what we are about to uncover. Let's pull back the curtain on reality. We often assume that what we see, hear, and touch is the foundation of existence, that matter is primary and everything else emerges from it. But this assumption crumbles when we look deeper, beyond the surface of the physical world, into the quantum realm. Because here's the truth. Reality is not made of solid matter. It is made of energy, waves, and probabilities. Right now, everything you know, your body, your home, the stars above, is not as solid as it appears. If you could shrink yourself down to the size of an atom, you'd see something shocking. 99.99999% of an atom is empty space. The solid particles we think of, protons, neutrons, electrons, aren't really objects. They are vibrations in an invisible field of energy. Think about that. What we call reality is not a collection of fixed, physical objects. It is an interconnected energy field where possibilities exist before they become actualized. But here's where it gets even more astonishing. This energy field doesn't operate independently of you. It responds to you. Your mind, your thoughts, your focus acts as a bridge between the unseen world of possibilities and the tangible world of experience. And science proves it. Modern physics has uncovered something extraordinary. Observation creates reality. This is not a metaphor. This is a fundamental principle of the quantum world. Let's explore the science that reveals the power you have over reality. In the early 20th century, the legendary physicist Niels Bohr and his colleagues made a discovery that shattered classical physics. Reality does not take a definite form until it is observed. This idea, known as the Copenhagen interpretation, comes from the famous double-slit experiment. In other words, before observation, reality exists as pure potential. The act of observation forces it into a single outcome. Now pause for a moment. If observation collapses reality into form, what does that say about the way you observe your own life? Are you unconsciously collapsing reality into struggle, into limitation, into fear? Or could you shift your observation and collapse a different reality? One of abundance, joy, and success. The science suggests it's up to you. 2. Every possible reality already exists, but let's take this idea even further. In 1957, physicist Hugh Everett proposed the many worlds interpretation, one of the most mind-bending theories in quantum mechanics. He suggested that every possible version of reality already exists, simultaneously, in parallel universes. Right now, there is a version of you that is wealthy. There is a version of you that is struggling, a version that is happy, a version that is lost. And the difference between stepping into one reality or another, your focus. You don't have to create success, happiness, or love. You just have to align yourself with the version of reality where it already exists. What you give attention to becomes your doorway into that experience. Most people unknowingly lock themselves into a limited version of reality by focusing on what they don't want. They keep observing their fears, their problems, their limitations. But what if, instead, you observed your potential? What if you directed your attention toward the version of yourself that has already succeeded, already healed, already transformed? Because if all possibilities exist, then the real question is, which one are you tuning into? 3. Einstein's view. The field governs the particle. Even Albert Einstein, who was skeptical of quantum mechanics, recognized something profound about reality. He once said, "The field is the sole governing agency of the particle." What does this mean? It means that energy, the field, determines matter, the particle. In simpler terms, the invisible comes before the visible. The internal comes before the external. Your state of mind, your emotions, your focus. These are the forces that shape what becomes real in your life. If you try to change your life by only manipulating physical circumstances, it's like trying to change the reflection in a mirror without changing the object standing in front of it. It doesn't work. To change reality, you must change your energy, your thoughts, your focus. This is why people who vibrate at the frequency of success, who believe in their worth, who feel abundant before the evidence appears, inevitably attract success. And it's why those who remain trapped in doubt and fear keep repeating the same cycles. Because reality follows energy. Pause for a moment. Breathe. Let this sink in. Reality is not some fixed external thing happening outside of you. You are not a powerless observer. You are a participant. You are the bridge between possibility and manifestation. The quantum field is waiting for your direction. And every thought, every emotion, every intention you hold is a signal that shapes what you experience next. So, I ask you, what are you choosing to observe? What future are you tuning into? What reality are you collapsing into form with your focus? Because whether you realize it or not, you are shaping your life in every moment. The only question is, will you shape it consciously or unconsciously? Now that we've established that reality is not fixed, but shaped by your observation, it's time to go deeper. Because knowing that you influence reality is one thing, but how do you actually do it? How do you direct this quantum field of infinite possibilities in a way that serves you? The answer lies in one of the most powerful forces in existence: your attention. Imagine holding a magnifying glass under the sun. Wherever you direct it, the sunlight intensifies, igniting the surface beneath it. Your attention works the same way. It acts like a lens that focuses energy, amplifying whatever it's directed toward. This is not just a philosophical idea, it is an observable quantum truth. Remember the Copenhagen interpretation? The experiment that showed how particles exist in a state of probabilities until observed. Your attention is the observer. Whatever you focus on, whether it's success or failure, joy or fear, you collapse that possibility into reality. Most people unknowingly use this power against themselves. They focus on their problems instead of their solutions, their lack instead of their abundance, their fears instead of their possibilities. And what happens? The quantum field mirrors back exactly what they expect. This is why the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. It's not just about external circumstances. It's about where attention is habitually placed. So, let me ask you, where is your attention right now? Not all attention is the same. The way you focus your mind determines the kind of energy you send into the field. There are two primary types of attention: polar attention, attractive or repulsive; non-polar attention, neutral and freeing. Let's break these down. Polar attention is charged attention. It carries an emotional weight, either positive or negative. Think of it like a magnet. If you focus on something with excitement, gratitude, and love, you pull that experience toward you. If you focus on something with fear, doubt, or resistance, you push it away, but also reinforce it. Let me give you two examples. Imagine someone who desperately wants success, but instead of focusing on the vision of success, they obsess over avoiding failure. Their mind is filled with thoughts like, what if I mess up? What if I lose everything? What if I'm not good enough? Even though they are thinking about success, their energy is focused on failure. And what does the quantum field do? It mirrors back what they focus on. They attract more fear, more hesitation, and more circumstances that confirm their doubts. They unknowingly collapse into a reality where failure becomes real. Why? Because the quantum field does not respond to words. It responds to energy. Now, let's look at the opposite scenario. Imagine someone who wants success, but instead of fearing failure, they fall in love with the vision of their future. They don't just think about success. They feel it. They wake up excited, as if their dream life is already unfolding. They trust that what they desire is on its way. What happens? They vibrationally match the reality they want to experience. They collapse into a reality where opportunities, synchronicities, and success naturally come to them. This is the secret behind effortless manifestation. You don't chase your future. You magnetize it by becoming the vibrational match for it. And it all starts with where you place your attention. But there's another kind of attention, one that doesn't attract or repel, one that simply dissolves resistance. This is non-polar attention. It is the ability to observe without emotional charge, to accept what is without resistance. And paradoxically, this neutral state often allows reality to shift effortlessly. Let me give you a powerful example. Many people carry pain from the past, old wounds, regrets, or emotional traumas. And the more they focus on them, the more those experiences continue to define their lives. But when someone chooses acceptance, something incredible happens. They stop resisting. They stop reinforcing the old story. They no longer fight against what happened. Instead, they observe it with neutrality. And as soon as they do, the emotional charge begins to dissolve. The past loses its power over them. The energy that kept them stuck releases. They open space for something new. This is why people who finally forgive, let go, and move forward suddenly experience massive shifts in their lives. Because the moment you remove attention from an unwanted reality, it ceases to have power over you. Now, I want you to take a moment, close your eyes if you can, and ask yourself, what am I focusing on daily? Am I placing my attention on what I want or what I fear? Am I focusing on abundance or scarcity? Am I loving my future or resisting my past? Your life is a direct reflection of your habitual focus. And if you want to change your reality, you must first change what you habitually observe. Because the quantum field is listening. It is mirroring back your focus. Right now, in this moment, you have the power to shift it. Now that we understand the power of attention, we arrive at an even deeper realization. Reality itself is a mirror. It does not exist separately from you. It is an extension of your consciousness, reflecting back your thoughts, beliefs, and emotions. This understanding is where true transformation begins. Because once you accept that reality is not something happening to you, but rather something happening through you, you step into your power as a creator. Think of a mirror. If you stand in front of it with a frown, what does the reflection do? It frowns back. If you smile, it smiles back. The mirror does not have a will of its own. It only reflects what is placed before it. Reality works the same way. Cannot give you something that contradicts your internal state. If you constantly expect struggle, life will mirror back struggle. If you believe love is hard to find, reality will confirm that belief. If you feel unworthy of success, opportunities will seem to slip through your fingers. Not because the world is against you, but because the world is reflecting you. So, let me ask you, what is your reality reflecting back to you right now? Not what you wish it was reflecting, but what it is actually showing you. Because that is the clearest indicator of your internal state. And the beautiful thing about mirrors, they change the moment you change. Let me illustrate this further. Two people can experience the same event, and yet walk away with completely different realities. Why? Because it is not the event that determines their experience. It is their perception of the event. Let's take an example. Two entrepreneurs start a business. Both face rejection. Both experience financial struggles. Both fail multiple times. But how they perceive those failures determines their future. The first sees failure as proof that success is impossible. They believe the universe is against them. They quit. The second sees failure as feedback, a lesson, a stepping stone. They keep going. One collapses into a reality where success is unattainable. The other steps into a timeline where success is inevitable. Same event, different perceptions, different realities. Do you see how powerful this is? Because it means your circumstances do not define you. Your interpretation does. And if you shift your perception, you shift your reality. Right now, think of a challenge in your life. How are you interpreting it? As a dead end? As a sign to give up? As a punishment? What if, instead, you saw it as preparation? What if this challenge was the very thing shaping you into the person who can receive what you've been asking for? When you shift your perception, your reality has no choice but to follow. But let's go even deeper, because your perception of individual events is important. But what about the larger beliefs that run your life? Your core assumptions, the ones you aren't even aware of, are shaping the timelines you experience. If deep down, you believe, life is hard, money is scarce, I am unworthy of love, then those beliefs become self-fulfilling prophecies. Not because they are true in an objective sense, but because you are observing them into reality. The quantum field is neutral. It does not judge. It simply says, yes, whatever you assume to be true, it mirrors back to you. This is why two people can live in the same world but have vastly different experiences. One person sees endless opportunities. The other sees constant struggle. One person attracts love effortlessly. The other faces heartbreak after heartbreak. Same world, different beliefs, different timelines. So, let's take this even further. What if every possible version of your life already exists? What if you are not creating reality from scratch, but simply selecting which timeline to step into? This is where we enter the teachings of Neville Goddard. Neville Goddard, one of the greatest teachers of consciousness, had a profound idea. He suggested that all possible versions of your life already exist, not just in theory, but as real, tangible realities existing in parallel dimensions. There is already a version of you who is financially free, is deeply in love, is living their dream life, and there is also a version of you who stays stuck in struggle, never breaks free from old patterns, remains in the same cycle year after year. Both exist. The question is, which one are you choosing? Because reality is not linear. It is four-dimensional. Every version of you is already out there, and your consciousness is the selector, the radio tuner, the bridge that determines which version of reality you experience. And how do you select? Through your dominant thoughts, beliefs, and emotions. The moment you start thinking, feeling, and acting as the future version of yourself, you shift into the timeline where that version of you already exists. It is not magic. It is alignment. The quantum field simply responds to what you embody. Right now, I want you to pause, take a deep breath, and ask yourself, what reality am I selecting with my thoughts, my beliefs, and my focus? If you keep thinking the way you've been thinking, feeling the way you've been feeling, believing what you've been believing, where will you end up? Are you stepping into the highest version of yourself? Or are you reinforcing an old, unwanted reality? Because here is the ultimate truth. You are not stuck. You are selecting. And at any moment you can choose differently. So, the question is not whether you can create a new reality. The question is, are you ready to? Now that we understand how reality mirrors our consciousness, let's take it one step further. Because if reality is shaped by your thoughts, emotions, and focus, then that means you are manifesting every moment of your life, whether you are aware of it or not. The question is not, can I manifest? You already are. The real question is, are you manifesting by default? Or are you manifesting with intention? Let's explore the science behind this. Everything in existence, every object, thought, and emotion is made up of energy. And at the quantum level, energy responds to consciousness. So how do we influence this energy to shape our reality? Through two powerful forces, your brain and your heart. Your brain, the electrical signal sender, intention. Your thoughts generate electrical signals. When you set an intention, whether it's to attract wealth, love, success, or healing, you are sending out an electric pulse into the quantum field. Think of it like a radio transmitter. Your brain is constantly broadcasting signals based on what you focus on. And just like a radio, The universe responds by tuning into the frequency you are emitting. But here's where most people get stuck. Sending a signal is not enough. You must also create magnetic attraction. Your heart, the magnetic field generator, emotion. Your heart is the most powerful electromagnetic organ in your body. It generates a magnetic field 5,000 times stronger than your brain's. And this magnetic field pulls reality toward you. Here's how it works. Your brain sends the intention, the signal. Your heart generates the emotion, the magnet. And when both are in alignment, you create a powerful force that the quantum field cannot ignore. Reality must respond. This is why thinking about your dream life isn't enough. You must feel it. You must embody the emotion before it happens. Not after you receive it, but before. Because when your brain and heart are aligned, you are no longer wishing for a new reality. You are living in the frequency of it. And when that happens, the world has no choice but to match you. Now let's go even deeper. Because if emotion is the key to manifestation, then what is the highest vibrational emotion? It is love. Not romantic love, but the energy of unconditional creation. Did you know that love is what holds the universe together? On the smallest level, atoms are bound by electromagnetic forces. Without attraction, nothing would exist. Everything, every planet, every galaxy, every living being is held together by the force of love. This is why falling in love with your future is the fastest way to draw it toward you. Not just wanting it, not just hoping for it, but feeling so deeply in love with it that it becomes real before it even arrives. Think about it. When you're in love, you don't question whether the person exists. You don't doubt if they are real. You feel them in your heart, even when they are not physically present. What if you treated your dreams the same way? What if you fell so deeply in love with the future version of yourself that you started living as them today? Because the moment you do, you collapse the distance between you and that reality. You become an energetic match. And when you match the frequency, it must materialize. But here's where most people block their own manifestations. It's not that they lack the ability to create. It's that they are unknowingly creating from a place of limitation. Let me ask you, when something bad happens, do you ask, why is this happening to me? Or do you ask, how am I shaping this? This is the shift from a victim mindset to a creator mindset. Because the truth is, nothing is happening to you. It is happening through you. When you believe you are powerless, reality reflects powerlessness. When you believe you are abundant, reality mirrors abundance. When you assume success is inevitable, doors begin to open effortlessly. Your belief systems are the filter through which you experience the world. So, if you want a new reality, you don't need to force it into existence. You need to become the version of you that already has it. Right now, take a deep breath and ask yourself, am I thinking about my dream life or feeling it as real? Am I aligning my brain, intention, and my heart, emotion? Or are they in conflict? Am I creating from love and expansion or from fear and doubt? Because reality is responding to you in every moment. You are never not manifesting. The only question is, are you manifesting by design or by default? And if you don't like the answer, you now have the power to change it. Because the science of manifestation is not wishful thinking. It is not luck. It is the alignment of energy. And the moment you align, the universe must follow. At this point, you understand that reality is not something happening to you. It's something happening through you. You are the creator, the architect, the observer who shapes the very fabric of your existence. But how do you consciously shift your reality? How do you break free from old patterns, step into new possibilities, and finally live the life you desire? It all comes down to a simple yet profound three-step method. This is not wishful thinking. This is the exact process used by those who radically transform their lives, from financial breakthroughs to deep inner peace. And today, you're going to learn how to use it for yourself. Step 1. Acceptance. This may seem counterintuitive at first, but the first step to changing your reality is to accept your current one. Not from a place of defeat, not from a place of hopelessness, but from a place of neutrality. Because here's the truth: what you resist persists. If you fight against your circumstances with frustration and fear, you are reinforcing them. If you resist failure, you strengthen its grip on your life. If you fear lack, you attract more scarcity. Why? Because resistance keeps your energy locked into the very thing you don't want. But the moment you accept what is, without fear, without judgment, you release its power over you. Step 2. Perception shift. Reframe your reality. Now that you've let go of resistance, it's time for the second step: shifting your perception. Because the way you see the world determines the world you live in. Two people can go through the exact same event. One will see it as a curse, the other as an opportunity. And their futures will unfold in completely different ways. Why? Because perception creates meaning. Step 3. Redirection. Focus on the reality you desire. Once you've accepted where you are, once you've redefined the meaning of your past, the final step is to consciously redirect your focus toward what you want. Because here's the secret: whatever you focus on expands. If you focus on lack, you create more lack. If you focus on abundance, you create more abundance. If you focus on failure, you reinforce failure. If you focus on success, doors will open. This is not just psychology. This is quantum mechanics. If you want to shift your reality, you need two things: a clear intention, a specific vision of what you desire, an elevated emotion, feeling the success before it happens. This combination is the formula for manifestation. Because when you focus on something with clarity and emotional intensity, your brain and heart align with that reality. And when your energy aligns, reality follows. Right now, ask yourself, what am I resisting? Can I let it go and accept what is? What past struggle am I still defining as negative? What if it's actually preparing me for something greater? Where is my focus right now? Is it on lack and fear, or success and abundance? Because the truth is, reality is always shifting. The question is, are you shifting intentionally? Or are you letting old patterns dictate your future? Because the moment you accept, the moment you reframe, the moment you redirect, everything changes. This is the quantum reality shift method. This is where theory becomes practice, because understanding is meaningless without action. So, I leave you with this challenge. For the next 7 days, I want you to become intensely aware of where you place your attention. Every morning, ask yourself, what am I focusing on today? Are my thoughts in alignment with the reality I want? Am I reinforcing my fears or my dreams? And if you catch yourself focusing on what you don't want, shift it, redirect it, place your energy where you want your reality to go. Then observe. Watch how your world begins to shift. Because once you start choosing your focus intentionally, you will begin to experience a completely different life. Now, if you've made it this far, I want you to do one thing. Comment below, I choose to shift my reality now. Let this be your declaration. Let this be your first intentional shift. And while you're at it, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss another powerful lesson like this. This is just the beginning. I'll see you in the next one.